As a small business owner, you deserve more. More confidence, more connectivity, more of the tools that help your business thrive. And at Cox Business, you can expect more from us. We don't just have sales reps. We have perfect plan identifiers. People who will work with you to make sure your business gets everything it needs and nothing that it doesn't. Your business deserves more, and that's why you can expect more from Cox Business. Call 800-526-8572 to switch today.
There's nothing more predictable in life than the unexpected. Lightning will always strike. Hail will fall on roofs. Fortunately, there's AAA. AAA has been helping members stay prepared for over 100 years. So when unusual storms, fallen debris, or sudden leaks happen, you'll be covered. Check, check, and check. Get the home and auto insurance you need by talking with a AAA insurance agent today. Visit AAA.com/insurance or stop by your local AAA store.
If you prefer real mornings, shouldn't you have a real breakfast? At McDonald's, we get real about breakfast. That's why you can have a savory sausage biscuit with delicious hash browns for only $1.50. It's time to wake up breakfast. Single item at regular price. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Thoughts of suicide may feel impossible to overcome. But with help and support, you can find hope and meaning. Call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-TALK to speak to a counselor, or visit suicidepreventionlifeline.org. It's free, it's confidential, it's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And even if it feels like it, you're not alone.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to the Red Wine. Sadly, Diane can't be here tonight, but fortunately for us, Auntie Vodka could fill in.
Yay!
So the show will go on. But so tonight, guys, we're going to sit and chat about everything that happened today with the unmasking and what that all means. And boy, the left is having a major meltdown. I've been reading this stuff on Twitter. It's nuts. And then
it's like a high school slumber party.
Yeah, yeah. So we are, and then we're also lucky that Lou is going to explain to us all this what's going on with the whole Russia hacking the DNC emails. If you guys remember that from way back when, the whole CrowdStrike thing. So she's going to explain in layman's terms so everybody can understand. So if my mom is listening, she knows what's going on. And we'll be able to get into a little bit of depth there and go on with that. But right now, what I wanted to know about you guys is we are slowly opening up in Colorado. We still have only curbside restaurants, though. So I wanted to ask, because I know Lou's in Georgia, how the whole restaurant thing works. Like, how does that work for, like, you know, you can't wear a mask clearly while you're eating.
I honestly haven't seen one. So I'm in Athens, which most everybody knows, right? So I'm in Athens. So here we are. I don't think that they're open for sit-down customers here. We have from the very beginning had a little bit different rules than the rest of the state. We were shut down early. March 21st was when the mayor of Athens, Clark County shut everything down in Athens, Clark County. So they had already sent all the college students home because it's a college town. And So we're a little bit different here than the rest of the states. I am yet to see a restaurant in Georgia that's actually open, but I know that like all the little mom and pop stuff back home is open. When even after the governor shut everything down, there were businesses in South Georgia that never really closed their doors and never stopped going to work, even that over that 3-day period of the governor's order. But you didn't hear about it because they didn't have the cops and the sheriffs out arresting people for not following that order, so you never heard about it. But I know for a fact that people were still open down there because we talked to some of them. So, but I've yet to see actually a restaurant or talk to anybody that's been to a restaurant. So I don't know, but they've been doing curbside and delivery. Uber Eats is uber busy here and and has been since the beginning. They've been doing really, really well. I don't know if you saw that one of the local restaurants put toilet paper on the menu and they deliver it for $2.99. Right? I mean, I thought that was like brilliant. But
that's awesome.
Right. So yeah, and it's a college town, and all the college students are going home, so there's not really anybody so much or as much to wait tables and all of that stuff. But I know that like the jewelers and the little shops and the retail stores and everything downtown, which are always booming, I know that they want to get open. And I don't think that the town hasn't gotten to the point where they want to open them up yet.
See, now we have retail is open, but it's really strict. Like you have to wear a mask, only so many people inside at a time, and some places won't take cash.
Well,
some places will. It's weird how that is. Some will, some won't.
Yeah, so I do have an appointment that I'm finally going to get to keep with my hairdresser. I got the rules from her about what we're supposed to do, right? So, I have to wear a mask.
You can't blow dry your hair, right?
They can if you've had color.
Is that on the table?
No, not here. It's not. And they can't. Well, they have to wash and blow dry if you've had color.
Oh.
And whatnot.
Yeah, they're doing color
blow
here.
Dry your hair because they might blow the germs.
Yeah, I heard that. They can here.
It is very much like the blow dryer. The heat from the blow dryer is not going to kill it. That's like you generate so much heat and humidity, and that's what kills this thing more than anything. And I mean, so that's stupid. If you're going to follow the science. You're going to follow the science, guys. But the thing about Georgia is, and this was the funny thing about everybody freaking out about what our governor was doing, because it didn't matter from the beginning. It hasn't mattered at any point during this whole thing, and it doesn't matter now what the governor does, because the counties and cities are doing their own thing, and they always have. So our rules are pretty much determined by the ACC government. So it's Athens, Clark County, because we're a small county but a big town. So that's it. That's where our rules come from. They don't come from the governor. They come from the town.
How is Stacey Abrams doing as your governor? Because I know she had a rocky start and whatever. How is he doing?
I thank God 7 times a day that she's actually not my governor, because there's no telling.
For you.
I know.
As well.
There's just no telling what would be going on right now. If
that gap show, am I right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, she's horrible.
Well, and what's funny though is that people think she's governor, because somebody said to me the other day, do you think it'll be the governor of Georgia that runs along that's Biden's VP? And I said, why would he pick a Republican?
Are those people actually inside China that are getting like information that China wants to give them? Because
were you talking to Stacey Abrams actually? Like people who were like, Stacey Abrams is totally the governor. Were you maybe talking to Stacey Abrams?
Is that what she told you? Is that what she told you? Yeah, she's been saying that, and don't.
She always says it to the point where people think she was.
Well, you know, and I kind of want to quote Nancy Pelosi here and say, "Don't waste my time or yours with what Stacey Abrams says."
Nancy Pelosi said that?
No, she said that about the president. Don't waste my... Yeah, was it Jake Tapper? Somebody on CNN. She said, don't waste my time or yours on what he says. He's the friggin' president, lady.
Yeah.
She's anybody... none of them have a modicum of respect for him. Like, you don't have to love him.
If they had treated Obama that way. Anyway, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to take
you guys, I do have to ask a serious question, though. What is going on with Nancy's face? Did you guys see her over the last couple days?
Oh,
she is who Tucker was talking about.
Eyebrows. What the hell?
I know.
Did you guys not see Tucker Carlson's Botox piece?
You had told me about it. I didn't see it.
Yeah. Okay. So I might have to go back and get that video and tweet it out, because Tucker Carlson does an actual piece on his show about lawmakers that are making laws that nobody can get any elective surgery done, even if it's like tumor removal, but they're getting Botox. And at the end, he looks at the camera and goes, and you all know who I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm. Well, I want to know all of the eyelashes, too. Come on, those eyelash extensions don't last for 8 weeks. So...
Nancy Pelosi was on a couple of weeks ago, and I mean 2 weeks ago, maybe, and her eyebrows were like, I'm a fight me in real life hairline, and I don't know what was going on her hairline, I don't know if she wears wigs or whatever. Scary. What's going on there?
She's always scary. She could...
she's awful.
Yeah, her from top to bottom, her attitude, her appearance, the way she looked, the way she talked, everything about that woman is scary.
I will give her props in terms of she's 80 and she still has a reasonably solid bosom and a svelte waist. I'm not going to lie, fam. I'm a little bit jealous.
Well, when you started out, I will give her props. I had my finger on the mute button because I was about to
honey.
I was about to mute you. Yeah.
I'm not going to give her props politically. She's literally just disgusting.
No, she was a babe in her 50s. She was a beautiful woman. Her whole life, she was beautiful.
I don't know if beautiful, but...
Oh, I think she was... I think she's a stunning-looking lady when she was younger. Now, it's she's
Mrs. Chuck Schumer, so...
Now, baby. She just needs to go gently into that good night. You know?
She does.
It's just...
write a memoir about the time that you banged JFK... And let's get on with it, honey.
Oh, my God.
And your policies are terrible.
I had to just Google Chuck Schumer's wife because I didn't remember ever seeing her before, but yeah, okay. She looks.
That's the world we live in now, where I'm looking at these people going, is that an Adam's apple? Because the Chans will tell you every single chick is a man.
Was she
I feel like there's,
Schumer's wife looks like square pegs. Ugh. Yeah, I think we should just call her square pegs because she looks like square pegs.
Yeah, she's I don't know what's happening there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, crazy. So, I was curious as to what you guys thought the other day when Trump tweeted 25,000 times.
I was watching my predicted shares. I'm like, come on, Daddy, keep going.
It's like, who's in that account? Because he can't possibly be tweeting this whole time because he was just in a meeting.
Predicted's like, Dan Scavino's been doing lines again. I'm like, you shut your whore mouth about Dan Scavino. He's a god among men. Scavino on par scale. You shut your whore mouths.
Oh, that's funny. So yeah, I didn't actually catch all that, but I knew he was tweeting a lot because he kept popping up in my timeline, and I tend to like never really even see him. I mean, somebody has to be tweeting a lot for me to actually notice somebody is tweeting because I don't look at my feed that often. And I kept seeing him, and I was like, how many freaking times has he tweeted today? Because this is like the fourth time I've seen him, and the odds of that are like slim to none.
It was like 72 times that morning. Predicted it was on fire. Everybody was like, what is happening right now? I'm like,
it was funny.
Yeah, that's hilarious. I mean, sometimes I just have to go look at like what the Troll King is tweeting because it's funny.
What's funny today? Did you see him today, this afternoon, in his little press conference? And he talks about Joe Biden being listed in the unmasking. So we'll talk about the unmasking. So let's chat about that. So over the weekend, so Richard Grenell said it was okay to release the names of the people that had been involved in these meetings with Flynn.
Well, and what had happened was the Senate wanted it. And he sent it to the Senate, and the Senate released it. So sorry to interrupt you, but that I think is an important distinction.
Yeah, that is true. The Senate did want it. Rand Paul for sure.
Right.
I hope Lindsey Graham also.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I would think Grassley. Yeah. Oh, yeah. But anyway, so come to find out, what do you know? Biden's name is on there. Of course.
What
Trump
do you know?
Oops. He's just giddy. Like, he's just like, well, I don't know. Like, there's Biden. He's on the news this morning saying he doesn't know. And there you go. He's listed. So I know he loved being able to say that.
Well, and I think that's why he probably started tweeting even earlier than these came out, because he found out.
Oh, yeah.
He found out quite a while. He didn't find out when we found out. He found out well before we found out, right? So he would have known at least by the time that the Senate knew, if not before that. So, yeah. That's the interesting thing about his tweet storm and when it began. Yeah, it's, the left calling it a nothing burger is that's the biggest stretch I think they've done today. And what was so funny, really kind of the first thing to happen was Bill Hemmer had the DNC spokesperson on to talk about this, right? And
yeah, I saw that.
Did you? Because the first thing she said was, well, if we hadn't unmasked the people in these reports, it would have been dereliction of duty. No, not at all, right? So,
right.
And the person that's not on this list anywhere is the person that probably, that if it was just a matter of not being derelict in duty, you'd see one person's name on there, and it would be Loretta Lynch.
Right.
And she's not on there anywhere.
Oh my God, I cannot wait until she goes down. I don't mean to railroad jump in, but I've had a justice boner for her to go down since the moment that Comey stepped on the stage July 5th of 2016.
Right. But
I am waiting for Cankles to go down.
She is just one. And so
she was important though.
She's not on there. She's not on this list. She is not on there anywhere. And the other thing that the spokesperson, she was, first of all, so angry. And then, but at the same time saying that it's a nothing burger. Well, sweetheart, if it's a nothing burger, why are you so angry?
Right. That's what I noticed. I'm like, oh my God. Loretta she wouldn't even let Bill talk. She was so, she was so agitated.
Yeah, the DNC.
Loretta Lynch was interviewed?
The DNC.
No. The DNC spokesperson.
Okay.
I can't remember her name. Do you remember her name, Lou?
No.
I don't recall. She's new.
Sad for her.
I've seen her around for a while, but I don't remember her name. It's kind of a funky name. Maybe somebody will put it in chat if they do remember. But I know. Hello, chat, by the way. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, hello.
Somebody Google it for us.
So she was saying everybody that was supposed to be there was there. And that's what I was talking about earlier with Lou. Why would Samantha Powers, who's an ambassador, why would she be there?
Well, I mean, it's that Samantha Powers, and we were talking about before the show. Someone asked Bolton when the news first came out, how many times did you do that? And he said somewhere between 5 and 7, and I always went through the FBI. You know why? Because the way the law is written, you should be an investigator to actually request that information. But we've got the staff of the Secretary of Treasury, people in the Treasury requesting that information. And it wasn't law enforcement, and it wasn't the friggin' Secret Service. We have staff members of the Secretary of Treasury unmasking a 4-star, was he a 3-star? 3-star general and the incoming National Security Advisor. You have to be friggin' kidding me. So not only are the people on the list should have never been anywhere near that list. There are so many. The deputy the ambassador, the deputy chief of mission in Italy.
Yeah.
Who is, by the way, the current ambassador to Georgia, not the state where I live, but the country near Russia.
But the Russian country like Georgia.
Right, exactly. That Georgia. I'm predicting that there's going to soon be at least one ambassador and maybe more position open. If you'd like to move to Georgia, get your applications in early. The State Department is going to be looking for somebody because that bitch is getting fired.
I can actually read Cyrillic. Maybe this is like good career path for me.
Maybe you should apply.
Oh,
you do have to move to Georgia.
If you go to Georgia,
vote for me.
If you go to Georgia, we'll come visit.
Yes.
Because Lou and I used to like to do girls trips.
That's what we do. We find friends that live places and we crash on their couch. But the names. So it is
us Yankees,
right? It is anything but a nothing burger. This is not normal behavior, and there was so much. Their complete freak out. I mean, you got everything. What you say when it's a nothing burger is whatever. That's a nothing burger. But when you flip out all over the internet,
oh yeah,
it's not a nothing burger. All over TV, you're flipping out. I can only imagine what's going on over at CNN right
now. This is what I don't get. First of all, okay, you have Hillary Clinton and the DNC paying to spy on the Trump campaign. And then you have these guys, what do you think their end goal was? Like just to to make up shit on Trump? Or just to throw enough
I think we know the end game because Peter Strzok told us what the end game was. They undermine the campaign to the point that he doesn't win, and if he does, they have an insurance policy that will get him impeached.
They're really, really bad at this game.
And
they are.
And
let's all be honest.
They really, really are. And the second part of that was, and when this all comes out, I am sure that we will see that they had that lined up as well. Because the second part of this was that they wouldn't just impeach Trump, that they would entangle Pence in it too. And if you are familiar with the line of succession, you know that means President Pelosi.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
President
They
Pelosi.
tried so hard. Do you guys remember, Lou? I think you probably saw this a year or two ago. If either of you remember, the there was a leak, whatever. I think it was actually a Chan thing. The proton mails between Paul Ryan and Mike Pence, and they were like, oh, we're going to overthrow. It was completely fake, completely debunked. But that's the kind of crap that they were doing.
These idiots use WhatsApp. Guaranteed they haven't figured out proton mail.
Yeah.
No way. If I find out that a single member of Congress is using proton mail, I will drop dead faint.
But that's what they posted. They were posting screenshots and alleging that Pence and Ryan were in a proton mail, group where they were like, yeah, screw that guy, we'll overthrow him. And it was so fake.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's real easy to fake things like that until you have to produce the electronic evidence.
Yep. And if anyone can look at that and forensically go, that's bullshit, I'm like, that's you, girl.
Well,
thank God.
The courts require that you turn over, that they won't take screenshots as evidence of anything, right? So that's why, because it's very easily faked.
Yeah, anybody can fake anything.
Right,
that's
exactly.
a very important point, what you just said. I just want to touch on it real quick. The courts require, and that's why pretty much all of this stuff that we've seen has been smoke and mirrors and bullshit. Like, who is producing the documentation? Let's go crazy full on hashtag Seth Rich, where they're like, oh, it was exfiltrated and it was done at a certain speed, so it couldn't have been a hack and whatever. Can you opine on that? Because that's always something I'm interested in.
Well, they clearly don't have that evidence, because we know now that evidence is not even there because of what Sean Henry from CrowdStrike said they have and don't have. They don't have the speed. They don't have the speed of the transfer. They don't have that information. I don't know what these friggin' guys were talking about. Because
there are people out there who I feel like somehow got that data and did an examination of it. That'll be a thing that we talk about.
Well, that's like
after the show, whatever.
That's something that I did not go back and review. Was that the particular air quote researchers that you're talking about that did that little examination? Because I had questions about it. A lot of people have questions about it. Many people in the industry don't believe it at all.
Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yes, I do, and it was
okay, cool.
It was fishy to begin with.
I don't remember their name.
Now knowing what happened and what didn't happen at the DCCC and the DNC, nobody has that information. So whatever until I see what they actually looked at, I don't believe that report at all.
Okay, so before we go any further with that, why don't we take a quick break, and then when we come back, Lou, give a background, and then we'll go forward on the whole CrowdStrike thing, because that's our next topic.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, well, so we'll see you back in just a moment.
Get up, get your man above the red wine. Get up.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq, Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. you'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now, 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
Get up, get your man above the red wine. Get up, get your man above the red wine.
All right, we're back. And okay, so some of you, I know our listeners are very astute, so they probably remember this. But for some of the other people that do not remember this, way back when, there was a big story about WikiLeaks leaking a whole bunch of emails that came from the DNC server that was hacked. And the whole story at that time was it was Russia, right, Lou?
Yeah, Russia hacked the DNC.
Yeah, so I'm going to leave it to Lou here. And then when you get done explaining, I'm sure Auntie Vodka and I will have questions.
So the story really came from the fact that the emails were getting dumped to WikiLeaks. And I really don't think that if it weren't for, that anonymous character that we know as Guccifer 2, that we would have ever even really known about it. But I guess we'll never really know that. But it ended up that there were two sets of two different groups that documents came from, and one was the DNC and one was the DCCC, which I don't know what that acronym stands for, but it's the fundraising arm for all of the Democratic Party. It raises money for congressional candidates, governors, all that crap. So the story all along was that Russia interfered in our elections and they hacked the DNC because they wanted Donald Trump to win. Right, Jody?
Yep.
And that was their proof that they wanted Trump to win, because they hacked the DNC and dumped all the emails to WikiLeaks. And that's why we've been hearing Russia, Russia, Russia for all these friggin' years. It's been 4. It's at least 4 now that we've been having to sit through this friggin' ordeal. But it turns out, so Sean Henry is one of the presidents of CrowdStrike, which you probably all remember, is where the DNC has been pointing their finger for 3 years. So they have the evidence. They did the investigation. They know everything. Talk to CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike in 2017, just like every other transcript that we've seen, testified before the Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence in the House. And he revealed some things that we had never known. Now, when I saw this first piece that I'm going to tell you about, and if you look at the thread that I have pinned to my profile, who's making noise?
I don't know.
If you look at the thread that I have pinned to my profile on Twitter, I go through this, and what these ladies wanted me to do was to try to do it without any geek speak in it. So, what Sean Henry revealed in his testimony is that in September of 2015, now keep in mind that in September of 2015, nobody knew that Donald Trump was going to be the nominee. And if you people who asked me in September of 2015, I told them no friggin' way. No way will he ever be the Republican nominee. And I was not the only one. There were a lot of people saying that. So, but somehow Russia knew that he would, and they wanted him to win, and that's why they hacked the DNC.
Yeah.
September of 2015.
That's the normie story, right? Like, that's not actually what happened.
Right. That's
okay.
What they say.
Cool.
The only two stories that I'm telling right now is what they said and what the truth was. The truth that they never told us, and I had to go back and check all the reports and all of the stories that have been done about this, and there's a lot of them. But I checked pretty much every one of the main sources to make sure that they had not ever said before that the Russians were in the system in 2015, September of 2015. But Sean Henry revealed that the first notification from the FBI to the DNC that the Russians were in the system was in September of 2015. But he also revealed that he was not contacted to come get the Russians out of the system until mid-April 2016, which means that the DNC said, look, the FBI said, look, the Russians are in your servers. They're reading your email. They're listening to your phone calls.
Which they must have liked. I don't hear anything, Lou.
Oh, okay. I don't. It's driving me crazy. Anyway, so so the Russians are in your system. Look, when the DNC found out the Russians were in their system, supposedly they sat back, put their feet up, and said, "Okay," and let them stay there for 7 months. The equivalent of standing outside your house while the burglars are running around and bringing all of your valuable possessions and throwing them in their U-Haul and taking off with them. That's what that was like.
Is there actual forensic evidence to back up that the Russians, and I'm air quoting that, the Russians were in the Ghost in the Machine? Like, because...
All right, so this is...
You know what I mean?
Yeah, this is a little complicated, but it's also something that is, like, kind of getting under my skin a little bit about how people are talking about it. Because there's cyber intelligence and there's digital forensics. So what they have is cyber intelligence. What they need is digital forensics. And you asked me earlier about the what I said about logs being overwritten.
Mm-hmm.
So there's only so much space on a server. So you can't collect logs indefinitely. And a log is just like, it's just like a ship's log, right? So if they get a shore-to-ship phone call, they write it down, they make a note of it. They say where it's coming from, how long it lasted, everything, all of those things. A computer log does all of that electronically. So it says you're getting an incoming message. It's coming from this IP address. It's trying to do this. We're not going to let it. We kicked it out of the system. End of story, right? So, right. Or it could say any number of things, but that's just an example. They only last for so long because there's only so much space on the server. So it just kind of like flips over as if you turn over a page and start writing at the top, right? Or if you erased a chalkboard and started writing again, right? So chalkboard is full. I have to erase the chalkboard and start writing again because I still have things to write down. That server, and I mean, the longest ones that I've ever heard of are like 30 or 60 days. An organization with a lot of internet traffic is probably going to do it a little more often than that, but it gets to the end and it starts back over at the beginning and overwrites things as it goes. So those logs from September of 2015, when the FBI first noticed or first got wind or they probably picked up some cyber intelligence from somewhere else. Some chatter of people talking about or some information being passed back and forth. Any number of places that they could have gotten it from. When they first noticed that the Russians were there, they could have already been there for 3 months. They could have already been there for 6 months. We don't know how long they were there. But they found out in September of 2015, and they didn't do anything about it. And those logs were overwritten 6 or 7 times. So there's so much evidence that they just basically pissed away because they didn't collect it. And all they had to do is collect it. And here's an example. I set up the 2 projects that I have. I set them both up to do one very important security task. Every day, the internet log, I know you heard that, Jody.
That's not me. I didn't do it.
I did not hear anything. What was it?
Where is it coming from?
Somebody is straining pasta, I'm thinking.
Where is it?
I'm sitting on my sofa, so I don't know.
And there's nobody else on our call. Okay, this is weird. So
it's really weird because the chat room says it sounds like somebody was eating. So that's weird.
I am.
So they can hear it too. So whoever the NSA contractor is on this call that's cooking pasta and eating, can you please just hang up or mute?
It was not me. I swear to God.
That is so crazy.
Funny. I am literally just sitting here, not doing anything, listening to you, drinking my wine.
Nice.
That is nuts. But the chat room can hear it. That is crazy.
Yeah. Okay. The chat room says it sounds like somebody's eating.
Orty.
For once, it's not me.
Orty, we tried to tell them, didn't we? We knew this was happening. Did we not, Orty? Okay. So, at any rate, so the logs, it's like you took the ship's log, it's all written on paper, and you threw it in the washing machine and ran it through the washing machine. What's it going to come out looking like? There's nothing there. There's nothing there anymore. What I was saying is I have my logs dumped daily to a storage, right? So that I have them all. But they didn't even, they're saying they don't have this evidence. They didn't even do that much. I cannot imagine. Okay, so, but here's the other thing. If they had the evidence and any of it proved anything, Trump and Pence and everybody in his administration everybody that worked on his campaign would be in jail right now. All these people that supposedly colluded, they'd all be in jail right now if they had the evidence that said.
Hey, Manafort got released today, you guys.
Yeah,
Did anyone hear about that?
I saw the perp walk.
Right?
Good for him.
Because they want to make sure, because he's sick, dirty, right?
Let's all be honest. But like, hey, good for him. And you know what? Roger Stone needs to be, I don't want to say he needs to be exonerated, not pardoned. Okay? Pardoning gives the left the ability to be like, you just pardon your friends. He could, like Mark Rich and whatever.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So, at any rate.
So, Lou, can I ask a question quick?
Yes,
what would be the only reason you would not do anything after the FBI contacted you and said, the Russians are looking at your stuff. You might want to do something about that.
I can't. There is no reason. So let's say the only reason that I can think to leave the Russians in your system is if you have you are trying to gather evidence or intelligence from them. But at that point, Cyber Command has control of your servers, and they have air-gapped, which means that they have isolated wherever the Russians are. They have isolated it from everything else that it could possibly touch, and they can't go anywhere. But you can collect intelligence on them. That's probably not even possible, because the minute you do that, they're going to know, because they can't get to anything. I mean, the only reason that I can possibly think of doing it is to collect intelligence. But again, if they had done that, we would know by now, right? Because we're 4 years later now. These people would be in jail.
Well,
right.
I mean,
yeah,
they might, but they might not.
Well, if the evidence says what they say that it does, right? And if it doesn't, then they're never going to turn it over anyway. So, if the evidence exonerates the people that they're trying to accuse, then they're better off just leaving the question mark out there rather than turning over the evidence and those people being exonerated, particularly 6 months prior, less than 6 months before an election. So, yeah, there is no good reason. Even if you think, I want to collect intelligence, your second thought is, but I don't know what they can get to in the meantime. They could go anywhere. Like, if you got to sleep at night and the burglar is in your kitchen, you don't know if you're going to wake up with them in your bedroom.
Right.
You understand what I mean? Right. So,
is the burglar hot? Like, I mean,
yeah. It wouldn't matter.
So
it doesn't matter if he's going to kill you. It doesn't matter if he's hot.
Oh, please, honey, try your best. I have a question.
Uh-huh.
Is there anything, and for the benefit of the normies, we can spread this question across the DNC quote unquote hack, the Hillary Clinton emails quote unquote hack, the Podesta quote unquote hack. Is there anything that actually can be drawn in a line that connects the whole way to Russia? Because my understanding was that was specious at best.
Well, and I think that's kind of what I started trying to say, and kind of I got off on a tangent. But if there's two types of evidence. One is cyber intelligence. One is digital forensics. Digital forensics, I haven't seen anything anywhere near digital forensics in this whole thing. And if they have any, they have like locked it up so tight that they haven't even alluded to it, right? So, and I've seen a couple people allude to possible human intelligence, which, means that a guy in Russia said that he's seen these files and they came from here and he knows this, that, and the other thing.
You mean like Christopher Steele, who's like, Trump paid some hookers to pee on him?
Well, that's a really good point. And
the guy who's a total germaphobe definitely paid people to pee on him.
Which is
absolutely.
Which is funny, except that there are a couple of guys, 2 or 3 guys in prison in Russia that, at least the rumors are that this is what they're in jail for, talking about this out of hand, which I don't know if I believe or not that whole story is a little bit sketchy and not very well sourced. So, I don't really know, but and it sounds kind of almost like another setup, but that's the so. If
Trump didn't have hookers pee on him and he didn't bang Stormy Daniels, I will go to the wall with that. And if that's I'm wrong, y'all come back and tell me.
That is still not digital forensics, and
that's cool.
And unless
human though, right?
It's human intelligence. It's not. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not like. I mean, you know how testimony is in court. It's like, it's as good as he said, she said. And what U.S. court is going to take the testimony of a Russian intelligence agent, as as it's absolutely true? I don't really know.
Apparently, quite a few of them.
Unless they can bring,
aren't we dealing with a situation where our 17 air quoting 17 intelligence
that was never
agencies
true.
Relied on humans and stuff like that. To say that this Russian thing,
well, that's a rumor.
Russians,
that's a rumor. There's no, there's. I mean, maybe somebody said they had a source that said that. I mean, who knows? But there's. I don't see anything that points to that being true either. And maybe it is, but that's the only thing that could save this, and that's only if they are able to defect from Russia and bring some digital forensics with them. Other than that, there is no real forensic evidence that this ever even took place.
Truth.
Yeah. I mean, they can't prove it at this point. The one thing that they had, and this is in the testimony, if you read it, it's important. It's also in my thread. The one thing that they had is all of the files in your computer have a fingerprint to them. It's called it's if you run it through
hash.
Yeah, if you like run it through the fingerprinting machine, it'll come back with a value, and but the minute when you download a file from somewhere, it'll change the date on it. It changes some of the information about the file. So most systems, it'll actually say that it was created by you at that very moment that you downloaded it, right? So it'll change the metadata in the file at that point. That changes the hash value. Well, the FBI gave CrowdStrike some files. They checked them against the files on the DNC server and came up with the exact same hash value. I don't know of any way on earth for that to happen 30 days later. They changed.
See, that's the thing, though. Do we know that CrowdStrike actually provided files? Do we know the like all of this crap with all of these entities?
I believe every word that Sean Henry said in his testimony to Congress. For number one, he was, regardless of what Schiff thought was going to happen, Donald Trump was the president at that moment, and he was basically testifying in a hearing about the actions of a president. He knew that very well. He's a former FBI.
Is this Sean Henry?
Yeah. He knows what could happen to him if he lies.
Please don't kill my whole family, honey.
I believe every word that he said. He was put in an impossible situation where one political party, through their lawyers, hired him to clean up the system, get the Russians out of it, and collect as much forensic evidence as he could. 7 months after they had already detected, 7 months after they had detected the Russians in their system. That's an impossible situation.
So you keep saying Russians, and I keep going, wait, like, it, I'm stuck on the, like, oh, it was the Russians thing, because they turned the Russian thing into a whole giant thing. And so, like, maybe we have traces of the Russians, like, what do we have evidence-wise? In terms of
they have cyber
who infiltrated systems. What do we have? Like, what do we have brass tacks?
The cyber intelligence that they have is the malware, the way that they used it. He mentions command and control servers, but he also
is this about the DNC or Hillary or like, this is the DNC, right?
Yes.
Okay. Because they're three different things.
CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike did not have anything to do, so he said, with those investigations at all. The DCCC and the DNC is the only thing that they were involved in.
So, but somebody is alleging that the Russians hacked something, but that sort of flies in the face of some of the other, like, let's just throw it out there. Let's open the window of the car and throw it out on the road. The Seth Rich thing, if we're talking about the DNC, and there are people who make allegations that it was exfiltrated and here's the evidence of how it was done and blah, blah, and Seth Rich and whatever, like, we're still talking about the Russians. Do we know that it was the Russians? That you know what I mean?
Okay, so there's, and that's why I brought up the cyber intelligence versus digital forensics. Cyber intelligence is like every report that you read on what happened with this state actor or that state actor is based on cyber intelligence. Very little of it is based on actual digital forensics. Mm-hmm. A lot of it is accurate. It doesn't mean that it's not. My point in the thread was that no one will ever be tried or convicted for this because all they have is cyber intelligence. They don't have any actual forensics that they would need to prosecute someone for this. Cyber intelligence is industry standard. It's well understood to be a certain degree of accurate. So can I just interrupt here quick, Lou, because we're almost done. Yeah. What is your opinion on the DNC? Like, what is your overall, like, what the hell happened? My overall opinion on what actually happened. My overall opinion on what actually happened is, if I were an outside investigator looking at it, I would have to say there is something really fishy going on here because nobody lets the Russians camp out in their system for 7 months without getting them out. Nobody does that. There is something wrong here. I can't imagine what happened to the FBI's professional curiosity. I can't imagine why their cyber teams don't want to know what happened. I can't wrap my head around that. Like, it would be. Does this have anything to do with the guys that were fired that were working for the DNC at that time? Like, were they allowing this? Do you remember that? Do you know who I'm talking about? Yeah. Does that have anything at all? Is this related at all? Well, I know that the technology director that was there at the time, he testified as well, and he maintained his position. So, the guy that worked for Wasserman Schultz that Schultz. There's always been a certain degree of speculation about that. But, I I don't know. I mean,
it just
I was
seems
certainly
so bizarre
that everybody in IT knows that when these kind of investigations start, IT gets looked at first.
Right.
So, I don't know. I really don't know.
It's the craziest. It's really crazy because it makes you feel like, you know how stupid Hillary was when she said, erase, like, oh, you mean with an eraser? Like wipe
like
her
with
wipe
a
clean.
cloth?
Yeah, with the cloth.
With the
yeah.
cloth.
Yeah. So I mean that's how dumb it is. It's almost like they can't possibly be that dumb.
Well,
she could be actually
the craziest, but the craziest part of it is this was going on literally as she was saying that.
Right. That's true.
As she was saying that, the Russians are camped out, or whoever it was, hackers are camped out in the DNC. Or, I mean, maybe they weren't. There is a possibility that all of this was contrived. So, in Sean Henry's testimony, he says that he was given a log of what happened prior to them coming into the project. And it starts with the FBI this is the contractor that was doing security for them. The FBI called me, said, look, the Russians are in your system. Look for this file, which would have been what we call an indicator of compromise. So it would have been a piece of malware or malware code, right? So look for this. Guy couldn't find it. Told the FBI he couldn't find it. The FBI called back, said, look for this now, a different file. Guy couldn't find it, called back and said, I can't find it. FBI calls back again, look for this. Guy couldn't find it, told the FBI he couldn't find it. That sounds like a red team, blue team test, right? So it sounds like a security test. So the red team drops, and this is like things that people do internally to test their system. It's the red team drops a file in the server and then says, go find this blue team, is capture the flag for security personnel, for cybersecurity. Cybersecurity, capture the flag. I drop the flag on the server, go find it. It's like a cyber scavenger hunt. That's what it sounds like.
Right. So that's just, it's crazy.
It's crazy. It was the craziest thing I had ever seen.
Yeah, it is. It is. And it's either they're completely inept or they're completely corrupt. So
yeah, and I can't
crazy.
Until they close, like I can't even ask any of my classmates that work for like the DOJ or the FBI, or I can't even ask them about it. Because they'd be like, what the fuck are you even asking me? I can't tell you. I can't say anything about this. Why are you even asking me? So, I mean, there's like, I can't even, but
I really, it's truly, don't you think it's going to be fascinating in 10 years to look back and have people talk about this?
If they don't
know what happened.
If they don't solve it before, they better solve it in less than 10 years or it's going to drive me crazy.
Well,
so, we're over by a couple minutes.
I'm really glad you came on and explained that because I saw your pinned tweet. I asked you if you'd come on and explain it, so I really appreciate you doing that because honestly, it's so bizarre and it's so ridiculous. It's just not even. I can't even wrap my head around it. It seems so stupid.
Well, it's one of those wonderful things that we can say. If you can't wrap your head around it, don't worry. It's not because it's geek speak. It's not because it's cyber. None of us can understand it either. It's like
yeah. Truly. Yep. I mean, it's nuts. So they were blaming Julian Assad the whole time about the whole WikiLeaks thing and pretending
he's supposed to be extradited, or at least his trial has finally gotten a new date in September 2020.
Yeah.
Oh, good Lord.
So, all right. Well, we have another show coming up, so we need to get going on KLRN. But I really appreciate Auntie Vodka coming on. Tell us where we can find you.
I'm on the Twitters, y'all. at Real Auntie Vodka, and here on these various shows, and also Chick Chat on the KLRN on Friday nights at 8:30 p.m. Y'all.
Woohoo.
Sounds wonderful. And Lou?
What she just said, and then Monday nights at 10 p.m. on Cyber Wars with Orty Packard.
Yeah, so if you guys are any into the anything with cyber, tune into the Monday night show. So thanks a lot for listening, you guys. We really appreciate it. Have a wonderful week.
Good night.
Cheers, y'all.